Hey guys, it's your girl Tannah Mignone back with another video. Today I did a warm smoky eye look. Very cute, very classy. If you guys want to see how I got this look, keep watching. Okay guys, I'm going in with my Fierce by Nature beauty palette, and I'm picking this neutral brown shade to start off. Then I'm just gonna pat that into my crease. I had did one eye and my eyebrows off camera. I just like to do one eye at a time just so I can know how I want the look to look. But if you guys want to see an eyebrow tutorial, just comment below. Okay, then the next color we're going to use this burnt orange shade. That's going to be my transitioning shade. Just to brighten it up just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more warm. Okay, now we're going to go back in with that neutral brown shade, and we're just going to blend it back out just to make sure the transitioning is very smooth and even. You just don't want it to look very patchy. The key with eyeshadow is just to blend. Then we're just gonna go back in with that burnt orange and just make it a little bit more vibrant, just so you'll be able to see it. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the black shade. Just grab a little bit, not too much, and then you're just gonna pat a little bit into the crease and then just blend it out. You can gradually just keep picking up more black as much as you need, but you just start off with a little bit at first, because a dark shade like black is very hard to blend once you put too much. So yeah, just grab just a little bit and then just gradually add more if you need to. And now I'm just patting the rest of the black on my lid. So now I'm just gonna go back in with that burnt orange shade and just blend it out with the black. You just want it to be a smooth transitioning. Now we're going back in with a little more black on the lid just to make it a little bit more darker. Now we're going back in with that neutral brown just to make that transition in from that neutral brown to that orange, just to make it look soft to very vibrant. And like I said guys, the key with eyeshadow is just to blend. You want everything to have like a smooth transitioning, so everything looks like it just comes together. So I went and did my lashes off camera, so now we're gonna get into the face. I used the e.l.f. Putty Poreless Primer, and I'm just gonna apply that on my face. Then I will also leave all the products that I use down in the description below. So now we're going into the foundation. I use my Maybelline FIT. If you watched my last video, you saw all the foundations that I use more than one shade. So that's the 335, and I also use the 355 for my face. Now I'm about to go in with my facial spray and my setting spray and just let the foundation oxidize for a little bit before I actually blend it out. Now as you can see that I am patting the foundation in. You don't want to rub it because I feel like you're taking the foundation off if you rubbing it in too much. So you just pat, and you can either use a beauty blender or a brush like I'm using, but I prefer the brush. Okay, now we're gonna go in with my e.l.f. concealer. It's my favorite concealer in Deep Cinnamon, and we're just gonna highlight the under eye, the forehead. I kind of go over my eyebrows one more time just to make it look more crisp, above my lip and my chin and my nose. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and blend that concealer out with my Real Techniques beauty blender, and make sure it's damp, guys. You don't want to use a dry beauty blender. You can either use a beauty blender or you can use a brush, but I prefer the damp beauty blender. Now, whenever I'm blending my forehead and the top of my brows, I like to use my blending brush. Just so I won't mess up my eyebrows, because I could tend to do that with the beauty blender. But that's your choice. You could do whichever one you prefer. Now we're getting into the contour. I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 370. Remember in my last video I told you guys I don't like to use concealer. I like to use the foundation because I'm able to move it how I want to move it. It seems like with the concealer it dries quicker, so it's harder to blend out. Now I'm going to go in with my contour brush and just blend that out. As you guys can see that I have these harsh lines on my forehead. I'm just going to go back in with my blending brush that I use for my concealer and just blend that out. Now I'm going in with that blending brush that I use for my concealer and just cleaning that up, them harsh lines. Just blending it out, that way it can look very smooth. And no guys, do not add any more product to the brush. Just use whatever product is on the brush already. You don't want to add any more product. Now I'm going in with my e.l.f. concealer in the shade Deep Olive. I'm just going to go back in and just highlight under my eyes, my forehead, my nose, and my chin, and a little bit above my lip. Because I like my highlight to be like boom. But I'm not going to put as much as I did the first time with the Deep Cinnamon. Now I'm just going to go back in with my damp beauty blender and just blend that out. then once again, I'm gonna go back in with that blending brush and just buff it out a little bit more. Now it is baking time, so now I'm gonna use my Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in the shade 30 and also use my Makeup Revolution banana powder, and we're just gonna mix those two together. So now we're gonna highlight those areas with my damp beauty blender. So we're gonna go under my eye, my bridge of my nose, the top of my lip, the chin, the jawline, the forehead, and the eyebrows. So while we're letting that bake, we're gonna go in with my bronzer. I use this as my bronzer, but it's a foundation. It's the MAC StudioFix foundation powder. So I pretty much use that as my bronzer and kind of just go back in while contoured and just kind of warm the face up. And I also use this foundation to contour my nose. I don't like to use the foundation to contour my nose. I just like to use the powder. So I just let that bake for a little minute, and then I just wipe off the excess with my blending brush that I use for my concealer. I just use this brush for everything, so bear with me, guys. So now we're gonna set my face with my MILANI setting spray. Once I do that, I'm just gonna let it dry for a little minute. Now while I'm waiting on that to fully dry, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my lips. I'm using my NYX Cold Brew lip liner, and I just did like a regular gloss. Then I just went back in with my blending brush just to clean up the little areas that I felt like still were a little too bright. Now for my blush, I use Nyx Cosmetics. It's just a blush palette, and I use those 2 shades. And you want to know what's crazy, guys? I was the type of person that did not like blush at first. Like, I felt like it looked like you was a clown. Like, my cheeks are never pink or red, so why would I wear blush? But now I've just grown to love it. I love blush. So now I'm just going to do my under eye. I'm going to go in with my Fierce by Nature Morphe palette and just go in with that burnt orange shade and just go under my eye. So since I didn't do eyeliner, I just did a little bit of black and just smudged it under my eye. So now we're about to get into the highlight by Morphe highlighting palette. I always use my favorite Shooting Star, and we're just gonna highlight that nose, above my lip, the chin, my cheekbones, maybe a little bit on my forehead, but not too much. And I also like to put a little bit on the bridge of my brows to make it like bam. Then we're just gonna put a little bit in the corner of my eyes. the completed look. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. If you guys want to see me do any other looks, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to do them for you. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Until then, see you next time, you guys.